Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to an all-new, hopefully very active Square Off. Let's quickly meet this week's panel.
Well, I'm Pat McDonough.
Hi, I'm Sheila Dixon.
I'm Adam Wood.
Hi, I'm Dick Gelfman.
And I'm Richard Sher. Welcome as we square off. We'll get to the State of the Union shortly, but first, this report from NPR that Donald Trump's Department of Justice withheld some documents from the Epstein files, which apparently include FBI interviews and notes about a woman who claims that Donald Trump sexually assaulted her when she was a minor. So let's start with you, Pat. What do you think about that comment?
Yes, as usual, just another attack on the president. And who listens to NPR anyway? I thought they were off the air.
Go ahead, somebody. Adam.
One of the things I've been wondering about right from the beginning is why haven't we heard from more women alleged victims on this? Why haven't, they come forward against Trump on many other things. I mean, he's a convicted felon as a result of what he was convicted of before. So I would have expected that there would have been a lot of people already, a lot of women already coming forward and making allegations against him, even if it's just for the publicity or the money, or God forbid if it's true. Where are they?
Well, you got to think about the women that are traumatized as a result of what happened to them. One woman committed suicide and maybe more, we don't know. But the fact that they're hiding evidence, the fact that Donald Trump is intricately involved with Epstein and these young women and what he's done to them, and the fact that they're hiding this information, it's ludicrous, it's unfair, and these women deserve justice. But to come forth when you've been traumatized, you don't know what could happen because he and his administration are very sick individuals. And I would even be afraid to come forward depending on what would happen to my life. I'm serious about it.
Haven't we seen many of these young ladies step forward and attend news conferences and make statements? Don't you think they've been very brave, Adam?
Yes, they have been. And they've done it, and women have done it for other individuals. But this is a different animal that we're dealing with.
Look, I'm very pro law and order. I'm very pro if somebody did something bad, they should be punished. But I think one of the things that's really been bothering me recently, and something that I've experienced with campaigns that I've been running, is we have to stop this armchair judiciary. We have to stop this because none of us have all the facts. I don't know that anybody's hiding information, as Sheila said. I don't know that. I don't know if they're holding it back because they're trying to actually build a case against somebody they're trying to prosecute. None of us have all the facts. So we really just have to stop speculating on pending legal cases. Everybody that did bad things to minors should, and I've said this on this show before, should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But we have to stop sitting around as talking heads and speculating.
Yeah, I don't think this is about speculating.
No, it's absolutely speculating because you don't have all the facts. You're not in the court. You're not.
No, I'm not.
You're not in the Department of Justice.
But the Congress has said, based on documents that they've received, that information has been blacked out, files have been missing.
You don't know why.
Come on, keep in mind, from the time he got back into public office, they went after to remove whatever they could on Donald Trump.
You have no idea that that's the case.
The Department of
I'm not there, but I truly believe
the Department of Justice was controlled for 4 years by the Biden administration. It was the most lawless, ruthless Department of Justice in the history of the United States. And they couldn't find anything. The Democrats have no agenda. They have no soul. They don't know how to tell the truth. So they got to attack Trump and linking to Epstein. That's all they have. And it's not going to work.
They either didn't do anything because they couldn't, or they didn't do anything because they wouldn't.
Pat, even if that were true about what you said about the Democrat Party back when, Democrat was in office, namely Joe Biden. That's no excuse for the kind of conduct that's going on now with the Justice Department. I used to be able to say as an attorney, I really do trust U.S. attorneys. If I had major cases from clients who needed help of the federal judiciary, of the U.S. Attorney's Office, I never had a bad experience with a U.S. attorney. I got
to be clear,
but
if I
I
can clarify.
trusted them. The fact is, I do not trust the Justice Department.
But can I just expand on something?
Because where do you go?
The U.S. Justice Department,
when you
the
say
U.S.
guys,
Justice
ladies and
Department,
gentlemen,
I predict that the U.S. Justice Department, you don't like it now, Mr. Gelfman. The U.S. Justice Department is about to get real active in the state of Maryland with Democrat politicians. So you're going to like it a lot less.
Can I just
Adam?
Can I just ask, when you say this conduct, can you specify what you mean?
By what?
What do you mean by this conduct? Like, what do you criticize?
Are you kidding me? You got a U.S. attorney who sits up there and says, "Oh, I got the list on my desk of all these things," and then, of course, she didn't have the list, but then she changed her mind again and said she does.
Well, I mean, just the fact of how she
I'm tired
disrespected
of
the
this. Why
Congress
haven't
at
there
the
been
hearing.
indictments? And the U.S. Attorney's Office files indictments. That ticks me off.
So if I can go back.
The Justice Department is not the Justice Department of Donald Trump. It's my Justice Department.
So the Justice Department.
No, it's Donald Trump's Justice Department.
So if we like it or not, the Justice Department has been politicized since George W. Bush and before that. Okay, so let's just be honest with everybody.
I disagree. Not to the level in degree that it is now.
Do you not remember the Attorney General saying, "I don't recall," about 100 times during the George W. Bush era? It's been politicized for a long time. So let's just all be honest about this, okay? Let's not be partisan.
It's worse.
Sheila.
Okay.
Adam, Pat, Dick.
I've been very good and very quiet. It's those other three that are screwing up. So don't blame me.
Look, raise your hands when you want to speak. If you all talk at the same time, our audience, which is growing larger every week, can't hear you because the audio gets lost. I do want to say that many of the Democratic lawmakers are calling on Donald Trump to be called to testify, just as Hillary and Bill Clinton have been called to testify. Do you think Trump should testify?
Yes,
Absolutely.
I think that he should. Because he's in the record, he's in pictures, he was involved, he had a relationship with Epstein, he had a relationship with dealing with young women. He should testify.
So can I just say, again, if I don't mean to beat a dead horse, what would that accomplish other than Democrats salivating at the opportunity? Look, I worked in Congress for 10 years. The hearings are theater. They're political theater. It's not, you know what it's not going to do? It's not going to bring a single person to justice. What I want is for the Department of Justice to prosecute anybody that did anything bad. And you know what? It's not a good prosecutorial strategy is just to throw all the information on the table.
Okay, Adam.
That's silly.
No Billy Buster here. Pat, I want to hear from you. I know you have a lot to say.
My wife works for Trump, so we're Trump people. I think he should testify. I don't have a problem with that. I think he should testify publicly because Trump knows what he's doing. Trump is innocent. That's the only thing the Democrats have. If Trump testifies, he can handle those politicians on that committee. The Democrats will make fools of themselves, just like they did at the State of the Union message. It'll be in front of 40 or 50 million people, just like the State of the Union message. And the country will witness. And Trump will be over with it, and it'll be done with. And then the only issue they will have at that point is let's reopen the borders and how's Bad Bunny doing?
Pat may actually have a point with that. I mean, what I'm thinking of is as I was listening to the comments from Hillary Clinton the other day, I said, well, obviously now what's going to happen when an administration does change and it's on, or whenever Trump is out, now he's sort of subjected himself, or the party has subjected him to being called, and Melania to be called to testify. I'm not sure I'm not sure just calling as a witness. I mean, the guy has a problem with the truth.
He's
And
under oath, Dick. He's under oath.
that doesn't seem to bother him in
No,
the
you're
slightest.
mixing him up with
I
Bill
find
Clinton.
it interesting
They're mixing
that
him up
nobody.
with Bill Clinton.
I find it interesting that nobody in this room is asking or demanding for the Clintons to testify.
Oh, I think it's fine.
Hillary just testified.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton is will be testifying or has testified. So they've come forth and
They say they don't know. They say they didn't know the Epstein. They didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. He's got a portrait of the guy in his house.
He was in the pool with him, swimming around happily, flopping
Hillary
along.
said she does not have a relationship with him. She does not know him.
Which is clearly
she
false.
has never been on the island. She's never been in his office.
Epstein would not want to know Hillary. He only wants young girls, not crazy old ladies.
She also said she didn't destroy her servers that she had in her home. I mean, like, this is laughable. Like, you want to talk about people that have a problem with the truth. Let's talk about the Clintons.
Let's stop for a moment. We're going to take a break. You guys certainly are feisty today and in good moods, and you're being respectful, and that makes me very happy. So here is the voice of Square Off, Howard Mallison. Go ahead, Howard.
Thank you, Richard. 1 second. With so many cars on the road and distracted drivers everywhere, auto accidents are going to happen. And if you've experienced an accident, the insurance companies can't tell you where to take your car. That's why more and more drivers are completely trusting their auto repairs and maintenance to leading edge auto body and mechanical repair. They work on all makes and models. They offer free pickup and delivery anywhere in the Baltimore area. So give them a call at 410-443-6433 or visit them at 5807 Falls Road in Mount Washington. They make your car look and run like new again.
That's very true.
If you're experiencing any kind of foot pain that requires medical attention, I recommend Dr. Kelly Gagan. She's a well-respected, board-certified podiatrist and heel specialist. No one is immune from foot problems. Also, if your concern is the appearance of your feet, Dr. Gagan has a long record of success using laser treatments to correct your issue. Plus, they're safe, painless, and go right to the root of the problem. So don't suffer from the agony of defeat. Start winning with a call to Dr. Gagan at 410-753-4422 to set up an appointment. Once again, that's 410-753-4422. And Pappas restaurants and sports bars are synonymous with the best crab cake you'll ever taste. But there's a lot more to the Pappas menu, a whole host of specialty dishes you won't find anywhere else. So for fine dining, special occasions, or just watching sports, Pappas should be your number one choice. That's why Oprah put the Pappas crab cake on her list of favorite things. And Pappas ships their crab cakes all over the country with 4 locations: Parkville, Cockeysville, Glen Burnie, and Bel Air. I guarantee you'll become a Pappas regular. Back to you, Richard.
Now, Annabelle and I swear by Jeff Siegel, and it's the best place to get your car fixed. Leading edge can't be beat. Kelly Gagan takes care of our feet. And after they take care of your feet, you go get a crab cake.
If I could shill for Pappas for a little bit, I mean, I had my Senate kickoff event at Pappas, and I probably eat 3 meals a week there.
Well, that's very good, and you are now part of the Pappas family. All right,
Richard,
President Trump.
I wanted to say that also Pappas is one of the biggest supporters of our organization for the book.
That's true. And your book is called
Celebrate America 250 Years.
And it is about celebration.
It is about American history. It's not Democrat or Republican, but it is patriotic, and it's part of an organization to promote it through AI and new technology all across America.
Very good. I'm proud of you.
And it's diverse too, right? It's going to cover all the different people and events that happen.
Sheila, it's very diverse. And one of the things was interesting that there was a black world champion in 1906, Jack Johnson. He was the world heavyweight champion of America for 6 years.
There you go.
That's in the book.
Well, that's a good comment. Okay, let's talk about President Trump's 1 hour, 48 minute State of the Union address, the longest ever. His speech was combative, campaign style and tone, as you saw. Trump emphasizing law and order, economic nationalism, and executive authority. What did you all think of the State of the Union? Dick, what do you think?
Well, I did manage to stay awake through it, and I don't think there was anything really that not the shocking, but the only point really to talk about, honestly, with it was where he scored some significant points. I think he made the point on the who do you stand for? Americans or these, illegal, what should the duty of America be first? To
Right.
real Americans, essentially in his mind, or these immigrants, the illegal immigrants who are here. And when, boy, the Dems sat down, I'm telling you, I see it in a million times as a campaign ad that's coming up is going to be a central point of this. They're all sitting on their hands there. Of course, with what's her name, Toledo Rashid, who had the button on her, F the ICE. Real nice. They're nice things to be, showing other countries and other people how we conduct, our public affairs.
Well, it's trashy.
I'm not exactly a raging Trump fan, but on the other hand, boy, I think the Dems really did themselves a real.
By staying seated, I was surprised at one thing when they introduced this gentleman, I guess he was in the Air Force, who
100-year-old.
Not that gentleman. He was great too, but there was a young man who came with one of the children, the campers, who many of them lost their lives in the storm, and he brought this 11-year-old, and I thought it was adorable and very, very, very good. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a panelist. I just live here. So
I think whoever did his marketing with identifying the individuals that he presented at his speech was extremely strategic and smart. I think overall, though, I think his speech, and had my son, who's never listened to any speeches by the State of the Union, and he listened. He said, "Is this how all of them are? Him attacking the Democrats and why can't you leave Biden alone? He did his part. Trump has not done anything that great." And I think the fact that the way he criticizes was unreal. I listen because you got to listen. You got to keep enemies closer than you keep your friends. But I didn't think he said anything that significant. And so I really, I just thought that he could have been more statesman in his presentation.
All right, let's hear from
he's
Adam
not a
and
statesman.
Pat.
So
We're going to hear from Adam, then we're going to hear from Pat.
I think, first of all, I think to say that Donald Trump hasn't done anything all that great is just laughably false.
Well, he hasn't.
Literally one of the best presidents we've ever had in U.S. history, twice. So, but what was surprising about the State of the Union, and I went to the State of the Union, I believe it was in 2012, and I've watched every one since I've been able to vote. What's surprising is not that it was any amount political. They've been political for a very long time. Again, so let's be honest about this. That was not surprising. What was surprising was the politicization from the Democrats and the things that they refused to stand for. Not just the woman who had her daughter killed by an illegal immigrant, but also for voter ID. For voter ID, something that 80% of Americans support, something that is so basic, something that is so essential.
But what was his comment before when he mentioned about the voter ID? He's still in denial and feels that somebody stole the election from him. Give me a freaking break.
We don't know because the thing about voter ID is you can't prove it after the fact. You can't prove it after the fact. What you can do is you can prevent it in the future. And the fact that if anybody in this country opposes voter ID, that means they are pro-voter fraud, period. End of story.
Pat McDonough, your turn.
I always show an ID when I go to vote.
40 million Americans witnessed the truth and witnessed the Democrat Party for the crazy, stupid, party they have now become. Secondly, he jumped 10 points in all the polls in every category. Thirdly,
that's not what I saw.
It wasn't political. He told the truth. Sheila didn't handle the truth. That's her
Oh, I
problem.
can handle the
To say
truth.
something like he's done nothing.
To talk about
Give me a break.
Christianity
How about
being-
Israel?
Sheila,
How
hold it,
about
Sheila.
Ukraine? How about Venezuela? How about a closed border, Sheila? Your president opened the border and allowed 10 to 15 million illegal criminals into this country.
He didn't.
And now you say
All of
he
them
does
weren't
nothing. Let me
criminals.
tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now, Sheila. This is not Trump's ICE force. This is Joe Biden's ICE force. And that's what Trump should say,
No, this is
because we
Trump's
would not need the
ICE
ICE
force.
force without Biden's betrayal of the American people.
Let me say
We can.
something.
It's
Sheila,
not about the betrayal of the American people. We can go way back when, if the Congress had dealt with immigration the way that they should have, to this day, and I don't fault him.
Oh.
I fault the Congress going back 20, 30 years. We should have had a system in place, a better system in place.
And you know who prevented that? Barack Obama. I was
No.
I
It
was
goes back
sitting in the
before
room. I
Barack
was sitting in the
Obama.
room with the Speaker of the House when we had a bill for immigration reform, and Barack Obama dashed it against the wall.
That's right.
We had the
That's
vote.
exactly. Yeah.
We had the votes, and he dashed it against the wall because he wanted to piss off the people on the right, and he ruined immigration reform.
No, he didn't ruin it.
Yeah.
It
I was
goes
in the
back
room.
even
I was
before
in the
that.
room.
When people like Sheila make insane, crazy statements like he
Pat,
has done nothing,
Pat,
and a Democrat says
He
that,
hasn't.
the average American person says
When I go to
these
purchase my
people are
vegetables, they're still
bad bunny
expensive.
freaks.
quiet. Pat, we do not allow personal attacks on Square Off. You can attack what people say, but
Oh,
not
I'm not
the person.
attacking Sheila as a person. I love her very much, and I
Oh.
supported her when she ran for office. But the fact of the matter is, when people say things like that, and that's what he exposed. The economy is starting to move. I don't agree with him 100% when he tells people, oh, it's wonderful. It's moving. The economy grew by 4% 2 months in a row. Housing grew by 7% 2 months in a row. Interest rates are coming down for working people. By the time September rolls around, it will be exploding. We won't
did
have
want
what
to
we have
say-
today.
The president did not let the rejection of his tariffs by the Supreme Court go unnoticed. With the Chief Justice and several justices just feet away, seated in front and center, Trump publicly rebuked them. What did you think of that, Dick?
Well, it was obviously a step back in terms of his aggressiveness from what he said a few days before about how he basically said they were un-American. You can't do this. Their families must be embarrassed by them. That is such BS, and it was such a nasty thing. But again, it's expected of him when there's a comment to be made about some major public event. And the Supreme Court telling President Trump that he was wrong is a major event. I mean, that it shouldn't have been handled that way. I did notice a very quick cursory handshake with the Chief Justice. The camera angle was such that you could only see it for a short time, but he did shake his hand, and he moved down and shook the hands of the other three, I think, that were there.
He cleaned up.
The other justices had an obligation to be there.
Yeah.
I think our representatives, I think the Dems and the Republicans, both in the Senate and the House, who didn't show up, I think violated their duty, their responsibility. I'm paying their salary. You're paying their salary, and they show up there and they want to show or talk about their dissatisfaction or their satisfaction with it. Fine, but to ignore it is ignoring my rights as a citizen to be represented by a fair public.
Adam, we have to take a break. Okay. We'll be back. Here's Howard. We got more to talk about here on Square Off at squareoff.net. How?
Thank you, Rich. You know, if you or a family member has experienced personal injury, medical malpractice, or nursing home neglect, it's time to call the law firm of Barry Glazer. He has the largest legal team, the largest legal team and resources to go after the big insurance companies to get you every penny he can. With an in-house medical doctor and nurse, his attorneys work on the toughest and most complex complex medical malpractice cases there are. Barry Glazer is your best advocate for the injured, disabled, and medically abused. Because give Barry Glazer a call at 410-547-8568. Let him know you heard about him on Square Off. And for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, your choice for a great meal starts at the Double T Diner. And all the menu choices are served the entire day. The Double T Diner has locations all over town: Route 40 West, Perry Hall, White Marsh, Bel Air, Laurel, Annapolis, Pasadena, and the EC Diner in Ellicott City. You've never seen a menu with so many selections. The choices are so immense, it's unreal. It's why the Double T Diner wins so many reader polls. Plus, Monday nights are lobster nights at By the Docks, part of the Double T family. Let them know you heard about them on Square Off, too.
That's right.
Back to you, Rich.
Yes, thank you, Howard. Be sure to solicit our sponsors. They are.
So do we get a discount at By the Docks if we mention Square?
Yes, you do. If you mention Square Off, Sheila, they will give you a brand new car. Brand new car. And you get a car. And you get a car. Adam and Pat.
Do I get a discount at Pat?
Can I have the mayor's car?
That would really help my
Well,
monthly
Pat,
budget.
Can I have the mayor's car?
No, it's too inexpensive. Too inexpensive. Let's talk about
with all the whistles.
Hey, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, speaking for the Democrats, asks this question: is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? Is the president working to keep Americans safe, both at home and abroad? And is the president working for you? That's the Democratic rebuttal. Sheila, what do you say?
No, he's not working for me. He laid off over 30,000 Black women who are, in some cases, look at the numbers, a ridiculous number of African-American women have been laid off based on him eliminating diversity within the federal government, who are head of households, who are raising their families. When I go to Trader Joe's, where I get most of my produce, my bill and no meat over $100 and $150 because I don't eat meat. When I look at my bills that come in, of course, electric, gas, etc., I don't see any improvement at all. My kids have a challenge with trying to purchase a home today than they were able to do 4 years ago. So is crime going down? Yes, but do I contribute that to him? No.
Can I just comment on how laughable
on the people that he laid off?
Can I just comment on how laughable it is?
Sheila, don't rebut.
Anybody in this room to talk about any politician working towards affordability when we sit here in the state of Maryland, when we sit here in a state where Democrats have never seen a power plant that they didn't want to shut down, and that they never saw a dollar that they didn't want to spend, and they never saw a single tax increase that they didn't want to raise.
Well, if you want to talk about the state of Maryland and what's happening there, that's a whole nother discussion, because I'm in agreement.
It's the same discussion because we're talking about affordability.
Let's not have that discussion.
But that's not
today.
The issue. I'm not disagreeing.
But we're talking about affordability. We're talking about people's bottom line. And when I'm talking to people, when I'm talking to voters, that's what they care about. They care about their bottom line. They care about their family budget. And who is ruining their family budget? It's not Donald Trump. It's Wes Moore.
All right.
Look at Medicaid. Look at health care.
Sheila,
we can go down the list.
Sheila, you're not the co-host.
It's not my time.
You're not the co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Dick Gelfman. Then we'll hear from Mr. Pat.
One of the things I was thinking of was I heard him make the comment about how, people had, because of his policies, people have lifted themselves out of welfare and so on and so forth. Thinking lifted themselves out of welfare. Wait a minute. They didn't lift themselves out. The rates are smaller because you disqualified them with your, big, beautiful, whatever it happens to be, bill. But he made it seem like, well, all these people, we had X number of people before who, were SNAP recipients and other kinds of public assistance recipients. Now that number's smaller. Yeah, it's smaller because you cut them off.
Because part of that,
there's got to be a better way to do it. There are certainly, I don't think there is a government that exists anywhere that doesn't suffer from some form of abuse of the citizen's wallet. But
Go ahead, Adam.
he seemed to.
But that's kind of a reverse argument. That's kind of a reverse argument. Oh, you reduced the amount of people that qualified for Medicaid. Yes, because the last guy increased it way more than it should be. We don't want a society where everybody is on welfare. We just don't, and it doesn't work.
Richard,
Wow.
let me have to say something here. I have been around a long time. I've seen a lot of presidents come and go, all the way back to Lincoln. And I can tell you right now, this guy's the greatest president we've ever had. He's the first president that ever looked out for America in a day and age when the world is threatening us, from the Chinese to the Russians, to the Mideast, to Iran. He's the only one that has stood up and done something about it. He's the only one that went into the nation that is supplying all the drugs to America, including the fentanyl, Venezuela, and took it over and now controls it. The things are starting to change. The last 2 months, housing has gone up by 5%. The last 2 months, we had a 4% growth. When under Biden, we had a 1% growth. Things are moving in the right directions. This is the last stand, the last opportunity for the Democrats. And as we know, they don't stand. They sit. And they're going to continue to sit and make mistakes. We're going to win the midterms. And I tell you, keep an eye on the numbers. Keep an eye on the numbers on less more. Less more among the independents. And independents are people who don't vote on color. They don't vote on Democrat or Republican. They vote on a capability and accomplishment. This guy is a loser. That's why he's not going to run for president, because his fellow Democrats will tear him apart.
All right, we're talking about Trump. Why are we talking about the state? I mean, that maybe that should have been a topic.
Well, maybe that should have been
Sheila,
a topic.
You got to spread the truth. It requires a
lot.
No,
I got it, but all these topics is on Trump.
It comes up because it hurts, and it's hurting me personally, and it's hurting everyone in the state personally.
Adam, we're out of time. I wish we could go on for days, but we'll be back again next week with a brand new program. You get us at squareoff.net, or you get us on YouTube at Square Off Show. YouTube at Square Off Show. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Mr. Pat. Thank you, Dick Gelfman. Thank you, Mayor Sheila Dixon. You guys were great today. We'll see you next time. What a show. Next time when we square off. So long. Have a great, safe week. Bye-bye. Coming into March.